Tides have been rising my distance, the moon in my bone and commitment. My nights have been falling, I feel it. Searching for loss of a feeling. Ties that I'm lost, I don't miss it. Don't cry on me, I ain't no big bitch. Tides have been rising my distance, the moon in my bone and commitment.
What is up, my Concise Conversation family? I hope you guys are all doing well today. On the channel today, I'm here with my beautiful mother. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Myra.
Perfect.
I'm Najja's mother.
Yes, she is. And today, I think I want to give my mother, share with you all a small piece of my mother's story, because I think she's an amazing woman, and I think she deserves to be shared with you all. So, let's start from the beginning. So one thing that always crosses my mind is that obviously for most of you guys who have been on this channel before, you guys know that I'm from Pennsylvania and I go to school in California. And I feel like that was a really life-changing experience for me because I feel like I gained a lot of independence, a lot of just learning on my own that I had to do, obviously being so far away from home. But I always think about my mom and my dad's experience from coming from a different country. And I feel like at the age that they did it at, I would not be able to do that. I just think it's a very different experience, you know? So how was that experience for you?
Well, for me, I think I was kind of lucky because when I came here, my older sisters were already here. So I didn't have to like leave home and be on my own. Mm-hmm. So I lived with my sisters when I first came and lived with them throughout college. And then, of course, after 4 years, I went back home to Antigua.
Okay, for sure. And like, for me, I think the biggest hesitation that a lot of people have about moving is fear of going to a new place and just starting over. And how is that? How would you say your fear level, I guess, was for you moving from Antigua to the States?
I think back then I was very fearless.
Okay.
So it wasn't a big deal for me to move. I like change. I like new things. So I was not hesitant about leaving. I think my biggest fear at the time was working a job for the next 30 years and doing the same thing for the rest of my life without getting any more experience. So that fear kind of outweighed any fear I would have of leaving Antigua and coming here.
No, that definitely makes a lot of sense. I feel like I relate to that too because one thing that I don't like is complacency or monotony.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand that feeling of wanting change and being more afraid of not doing anything than doing something. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
And change is good. It's fun. It's exciting. Even with change, I think the biggest fear would be keeping things fresh with change. So yeah.
For sure. So obviously, so you moved to the States, and you had children. You had 3 children. So how was that? How would you describe that experience of being a mother?
As the youngest sibling, for me, being a mother, I was just like, well, if my sisters could do it, if friends can do it, it cannot be that scary. Because I have a lot of friends and they're like, parenting is scary, but I'm like, people are doing it. People have been doing it, right. So how scary can it be? So I never went in with that mindset. And I also went in with the mindset that I'm a different person from my kids, so I'm gonna let you guys, as you know, live your own lives, right, and find your own happiness, your own paths, and I just did that. For me personally, it was just easy to let kids leave at 17 in your case, or 18, than to have an 18-year-old adult living with me and driving me even more crazy.
No, for sure. I definitely have to say that I appreciate the I don't think leniency is the right word, but the freedom that you gave us to express ourselves and grow in the ways that we wanted to, because I think that even influenced me to like go to California and, you know, do what I'm doing now, even make this YouTube channel, like just express myself in a lot of different ways. So I think that the ability that you gave us to like be our own person was very beneficial to like who we are now.
Yeah, and I think one of the main reasons why I did it was, I think, from my perspective, giving kids that freedom boosts their confidence.
Right.
Because if you guys had to rely on me for everything, then you would never have self-confidence or any kind of like courage to do anything on your own. And as you know, and as you guys might not know, like my mother died when I was really young.
Yeah.
And so also knowing that I had to be on my own at a young age, I did not want you guys to rely on me for everything. And then God forbid something happens to me, then, you know.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah, I made you guys kind of independent at an early age.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really good point when you talk about confidence, because I even talked about that in a video that I put on my channel recently. And I think self-confidence is so important in life in general, because without it, it goes back to the fear. Like you have a lot of fear of doing a lot of things and just really going for your dreams. So I do think that you really instilled in us a sense of self-confidence and self-esteem, where we were able to see a dream in our head and really go for it.
Yeah, and honestly, at the end of the day, it's life.
Yeah.
We're not here forever. You try something, it works, fine. It doesn't, you try something else.
Yeah, for sure. So that brings us to your book. She has a book. It's called 40 Lessons in 40 Years by the Myra Francis. So how was that experience? Like, first, I want to know, like, what even prompted you to think about writing a book? And then how was the experience of actually writing the book?
So in a former life, when I used to work in Manhattan, we used to work with like a bunch of different people.
Yeah, we'll go with
So I used to joke with my friends and be like, I'm going to write a book about this place, blah, blah, blah. And then when I was downsized and I had time on my hands, I started writing the manuscript about the job and different things. And then I just kind of shifted when I realized that just writing about the job wasn't enough. Oh, prior to that, I was blogging about different things like social issues and, you know, whatnot. And I shifted the book to like lessons learned, because at the time when I was home, I realized like I would talk to a lot of different people, and when you talk about your experiences, everyone was like, oh, that happens to me too, and you know, so on. So you're like, wait a minute, we all have similar experiences, but because we're not sharing them, no one knows what each other's experience is, or you know, that they're not in it by themselves.
Right.
And so I had the courage to put myself out there, wrote the book, 40 Lessons in 40 Years, putting life into perspective through trials and triumphs, I think. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
And yeah.
Yeah, I think I definitely relate to that, because I think you writing the book is very similar to me even having this YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Because I think that when you are vulnerable and you share your experiences, you do realize how much more similar we are than not.
Yeah.
And that's how you build community. That's how you you build friends, you share experiences. And I think that's really important in life in general, because one of the worst things that anyone could feel is lonely. And I feel like that is such an isolating experience to feel lonely, and I don't think anyone in the world should feel lonely, because we have all these shared experiences with each other.
Yeah, I cannot relate to that.
I feel.
I have lots of siblings and lots of different pockets of friends, and so I'm not used to feeling lonely. Sometimes I'm alone, obviously, but by choice. So I'm not really. But I can understand why someone would feel lonely if they don't make themselves vulnerable and also don't let people in. Yeah. Which obviously, you know, I bring too much people in.
You have everyone. That's where I get it from. This woman right here. But yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I see that. I can see that you are obviously a very friendly person, and I think that's where I get it from, that you have the ability just to talk to anyone and really,
pretty much.
Yeah, really like make people feel comfortable. I think that's a really good skill to have in general, because that's when people are able to be vulnerable, when they are comfortable.
Yeah. And when you can also relate to, because over my years on this earth, I've had numerous experiences, so I can relate to almost everyone in some way, shape or form. Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. And I think that is a skill that I have picked up, or maybe it's inherent, but I think that's what I have tried to embody in my life, that no matter who you are, like I know there's some way that I connect to you, because at the end of the day, we're all humans. Yeah. And we all go through human experiences. So that's how I know that regardless of who you are as a person, like there's some way that I know that we can click.
Exactly.
And that's why I like people.
Yeah, there has to be something, at least one thing in common. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So my last question for you is, what is next for Myra Francis?
So, couple of things, I guess. Yeah, they're doing construction outside.
It's okay. I hope you guys can hear us.
So, the book that I wrote, well, that got published 7 years ago, was what I call my first book. And I'm working on a second book that I wish I had a publisher to push me. But hopefully I'll be finished. I cannot say by this year like I've been saying for years, because this is finishing in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So hopefully before the end of winter or the end of next year.
Hey, we'll make it work.
But hopefully,
I'll push you.
Hopefully before COVID.
Yeah. How we're going now, we don't even know when that.
Yeah, but I want to finish that second book only because the first book was kind of intimate. So this book, I'll be able to express myself, more of myself in my more naughty ways, right, and, you know, other ways. And it's going to be, well, I want it to be, you know, funny and, again, issues that we all have in common, that we touch on, that we've spoken about and debated about. So yeah, that's my next step. I, as you know, recently moved, and so I'm working as a counselor from home, and I just want to get as much experience as I can with that as a paid counselor.
Right.
And yeah, and figure things out.
Definitely, yeah. Well, definitely go check out her book, 40 Lessons in 40 Years. I will drop the link in the description below. But thank you so much for joining me on my channel. I'm sure you will be back at some point in time. I hope you all are doing well wherever you are and you're happy. And I will talk to you later. Peace out.